How you doing, everybody? It's Monday the 22nd of March 2010, and it's about 7:30, quarter in the evening, and I just want to talk about a couple of things which have been obviously ruminating in my mind, as it were, over the last couple of days, and they've obviously been at other people as well, because I've been having lots of conversations with various people about what did I think about these various things, and so I'm just going to try and deal with them in sequence. The first two are the two arrests that took place last week here in Ireland, and the next thing is just an economic article. So the first two things are political stroke economic, and they relate to Sean FITZPATRICK, who is the disgraced head of Anglo-Irish Bank. I've put a photograph of him. People don't know who I'm talking about. Put a little photograph up there, you can have a look at him now. That's him there, you know him. And the other person is a young Garda, a female Garda. Remember the Garda Síochána, the police force here in Ireland. And she was arrested last Wednesday, Thursday. Okay? And I'm just going to do a quid pro quo, as it were. Just balance one against the other. Alright? Now, I have stuck my neck out about the Sean FITZPATRICK affair for the last year, since it came into the public domain, about what was going on in Anglo-Irish. And I've said the following, and I'm not going to change my mind one iota. Sean FITZPATRICK will not do 1 day in jail. Alright? Sean FITZPATRICK is not going to jail. Sean FITZPATRICK headed up the third most powerful bank in Ireland. This was the bank for all the strokers, for all the get rich quick merchants. He knows where all the bodies are buried. He got invited to all the right parties. He knows all the tittle tattle. Unless he's a total idiot, I'm sure he has lots of photocopies of files hidden away, and I'm sure he's got a thick black book, and it's the black book that is what is important. As I say, he knows where the bodies are buried. We've already had one of our commenters, Jacqueline, point out that Anglo-Irish, up until I think 2 years ago, controlled one of the leading Austrian private banks, where it was operated in the Swiss fashion, where they only had numbered accounts. Can you imagine the shenanigans that went on there with the paddies? Can you imagine? It's another Ansbacher job. So Shawnee knows all who had numbered accounts in that bank, and maybe still do, but doesn't matter. They'll probably been transferred elsewhere. That doesn't matter. But Shawnee knows who they were, and I'm sure that Shawnee facilitated many of the good and the mighty in hiding their money. Because we now have the travesty. I don't want to go on about that. That requires a different day's commentating on the shenanigans of Dennis Obese O'Brien and the shenanigans over the last week. Anyway, it's going to complicate matters too much. I just want to concentrate on these two things. As I told you, Sean FITZPATRICK is not going. Sean FITZPATRICK was arrested and held for 12 or 18 hours. He wasn't even charged. There's no charges presented against him. He was simply arrested, detained for questioning, and released. Nothing's going to happen to Sean FITZPATRICK. Don't forget, this man raised, that we know about, 8 million euros for the Vatican. That's just what we know about. That's just one of. So he's either a leading member of Opus Dei or a leading member of the Knights of Malta. He doesn't even have to be either. It doesn't matter. He has the ear of the Vatican. This is a major player. Be under no illusions. Listen, when all this blew up, Sean FITZPATRICK didn't do what you or I would do and go and hide under a table. Sean FITZPATRICK took himself off somewhere on a holiday to play golf. He knows what side his bread's buttered on. He knows what's going to happen. He knows nothing's going to happen. Because I wonder how many of all the property mortgages that all those ministers and all those TDs own I wonder how many of them were taken out with Anglo-Irish banks, or through references or through recommendations of Anglo-Irish Bank to other banks. So let's call a spade here. This is what will happen is there'll be a patsy found within Anglo-Irish Bank. He'll be set up and he'll do the time. That's what'll happen. That's what happened with Larry Goodman. That's what's going to happen in this case. I told you, the rich, the good and the wealthy in Ireland do not go to the Pokey Joe. End of story. No matter what you think, I think, or anybody else thinks, it don't work that way. It just works one way. Their way. Flip side of the coin, with a young Garda. She's 26 or 27 she is. Okay? She comes across what would be deemed to be by any rational person's mind in her department, illegal documents written by a junior minister at the time, Trevor Sargent, to a superintendent about a criminal case that's getting pursued in the courts, but asking the superintendent to intervene directly in relation to the guard who's doing the prosecution for the case. So what happens? Sean Fitzpatrick, it takes 18 months. Anglo-Irish Bank was brought to public notice and was basically seized as public property in October 2008, and 18 months later he's only been detained by the police. This young girl fed this information because she knows nowhere else to go. You see, there's no whistleblowers ombudsman here. We don't have a whistleblowers charter. So what does she do? The thing presses on her mind. There's nothing gain. There's no gain out of it for her. She's not doing it for financial gain. So she goes to the great moral court, the people, through the newspapers, through the public media. She knows she can't do it through the state media. So they would report her immediately to the guards, the senior guards. So what happened is, anyway, creates a whole furore. How long has it taken to find her? About 5 days. 5 days. She's arrested and there'll be charges issued against her. She's going to lose her job, everything. There'll be no patsy found for her, there'll be nothing. She'll be put up against the door and crucified. That's what's going to happen to her. They're the two flip sides of the coin. Final thing I want to refer you to is an article, and that's Ireland, by the way. That's how Ireland operates. That's the moral and ethical basis for Ireland. Alright? Anyway, next thing I want to talk about is an article. And the article, I have it here. There's it there. I'll put a link to it, by the way, and you can have a wee read about it. But that's it there. And it's from, you see it there? It's that article there. And it tells you there, 29 property suicides leave state unmoved. Okay? But inside the article are two fascinating bits of information. Just listen to this. Imagine in the year 2008 there was 110,000 mortgages issued in this country. That's as late as 2008, 110,000. In 2007 there was 158,000. Now if you do the natural extrapolation back from those, you arrive at figures. These are approximate figures that I've dreamt up for the previous 3 years. It's just to finalise the thing, okay? I'm saying that in about 2006, in year 2006, there was about 100,000 mortgages given out. And in the year 2005, about 80,000. And in the year 2004, 60,000. And if you add those 2004 up to 2008, you end up with 500,000 mortgages. 500,000 mortgages in this country. There's only 4 million people in the friggin' country. It's only a workforce of 2.2 million. So 1 in every 4 people have mortgages out against their names. These are like new mortgages, and they're all in deep negative equity. I tell you, man, we have a tsunami of all tsunamis coming towards us. When I read these figures, I couldn't believe them. So I have to cogitate over in my mind, because I only read them yesterday. I have to work out in my mind what is actually going to happen. But I tell you one, there's not going to be enough prisons in Ireland. Ireland financially is going to implode. Ireland financially is going to implode over the next year, 2, 3 years. People can't pay this. Who's going to want to pay mortgages when property's going that way for the foreseeable future, and it ain't going to recover in this country. It ain't going to recover. We're looking at a tsunami. It ain't a physical tsunami, it ain't big waves, it's financial big waves. That's what it is. Listen, we talk more.